What if you were the major key to your better future? That's what we're going to look at today in step number 5. To believe and to understand that we are the major key to really our best future. And so let's go through the what belief means, or to believe. The definition says that to believe is simply to accept something as true. Now, before we go forward, we're going to look at the difference between something being true and something being truth. There's a big difference. Here's what I mean. To me, it is true that this glass is half full. But for someone else, it might be true that this glass is half empty. To be honest, we're both right. It depends on the perspective. What is truth is something that cannot be changed. Jamal Henry is sitting in his basement right now. That is truth. Whether you want to believe it or not, I'm here recording this in my basement, and that is truth. It cannot be changed. So now that we have that clear, I'm going to read right off of something I just wrote, and then we're going to talk about it. So here's the biggest lie that we've been fed since the day we were born. And this lie is that the doors that we need to open and go through in order to live our best life are on the outside of us. That the places that we need to go are over there. If we want to achieve something, it's over there. Here are some examples. There's this saying that says, you need to get your foot in the door when it comes to school, college, university. Just get your foot in the door, and then, you can figure it out. For work, just get your foot in the door, like getting a job or getting promoted. Just get your foot in the door so they see who you are. For sports, just get your foot in the door so they know who you are and you can make the team. And so we spend a lot of time aiming for these doors to go through. And we spend a lot of time and energy and belief that we can go through these doors. Is that a wrong thing? I don't believe it is a wrong thing, but I do believe it is the wrong thing to start with, if we want to go through these doors the right way. So you might be asking yourself, but Jay, this is how it was brought up. If this is wrong, if this is the wrong way to start or to aim, what way should we start? Guys, the next few minutes we're going to go through might get a little touchy, but I'm not going to apologize, because these are things that have to be said. So these doors that we just spoke about, these are finite doors. These are doors that they won't last forever. They might bring you a certain sense of accomplishment, but that sense of accomplishment will not last forever. Right? If you won't be in college and university forever, unless that's what you want to do, if that gives you a sense of fulfillment. But remember, when you die, college and university won't be with you. Work, getting a job or getting promoted, it's kind of finite, because once you're done working, pretty much done with getting promoted or getting a job, unless you want to work your whole life. Sports, making a team, there's nothing more finite than that. Unless you found out a way of being part of a team and staying with that team forever and ever and ever until the day you die. and being a baller on that team. But again, these are finite. In my opinion, these are finite doors, which means that they, at a certain point in time, they end, at least during our lifetime. All right, here we go. Here we go. We have mentally pulled away from the true doors that we need to be opened. And this is what we're going to go through, these next doors, right? The doors of the infinite, the doors that last forever, no matter what. The doors that when we're able to open them and walk through them, any other door outside of us becomes a simple way of life to open. Here's what I mean. These next 3 doors that we're going to talk about, when we're able to realize that they're there and work on opening them and going through them, all the other doors that we love to focus on because society has put everything in place to keep us focused on the outside, well, they just become, we go through them with ease because we understand that these next 3 doors, when we focus on those, everything else comes with it. So door number 1, there are 3 doors that we're going to look at today. The door of the mind, the door of the heart, of your heart, and the door of your soul. As we work on opening these doors, we become the person that we are meant to be, the best image of God. Let me say that again. God made us in his image. And the more we work on opening the doors of our hearts, our minds, and our souls, the more we become the best image of God. That's my opinion. So the more we think like God, all right, thinking like God, what does God think like? He's pretty creative. He has a great imagination. He created the world. And have you realized, and for everyone who's like, okay, no, impossible. Well, watch. The more we think like God creatively and with imagination, the more we can develop gratefulness within our hearts. And people are like, okay, what do you mean? Have you ever realized that the moments where you feel awesome, you're appreciative for the moments that you're living, you are grateful for the people that are around you, the emotions that you're living, those are the moments where your brain is creating memories, that you're creating memories through the connections that you're making with the people around you. You're able to imagine a future with those people. You're able to create future memories. That's insane. But it's true. And it doesn't just have to be create future things. It's while you're actually creating something new. Like creating this masterclass, totally new for me, but I feel so fulfilled. So it's in the creation of something new that we feel most thankful. That we feel like, wow, I am exactly where I need to be. So the more we think like God creatively and imagination, the more we can develop gratefulness within our hearts. And the more we develop gratefulness within our hearts, the more our souls are filled with joy. Let me say that again. The more we think like God creatively and imagination, the more we can develop gratefulness within our hearts. And the more we develop gratefulness within our hearts, the more our souls are filled with joy. And see, that's a cycle that could keep going. I do believe that a human being is meant to have progress. That without progress comes death before we actually die. And we'll get to that. Without a constant progression in our lives, I do believe our mind, heart, and soul start to crumble. And that's because we are not living in the image of God. He made us to have progress, to grow. So the more we live this cycle, the more we live in His image. Right? So we live in His image, and the more we live in His image, the more we become the best of us. Let me say that again. The more we live this cycle of thinking like God, of having gratefulness and bringing joy into our souls, right? So the more we live this cycle, the more we live in His image. The more we live in His image, the more we become the best of us. Now, this masterclass is called Awaken Your Inner Champion. And the focus is on us, to develop us. Because you are the major key to your better future. I believe it's Jim Rohn who said that. You are the major key to your better future. The only way of becoming that key is looking inside and opening those doors and connecting. So connecting with God, the only way to become the key, the major key to our better future is by a radical connection with Him. Capital H-I-M. Once that is accomplished every day, because it's every day, this connection has to be done every day with God, we become the major key that we're meant to be. Let me say that again. The only way to become the major key of our better future is by a radical connection with Him, capital H-I-M. Once that is accomplished, and that's every day, that connection every day, we become the major key of our better future. I trust that you understand what I'm saying. And if you don't believe in God, that's all right. That's all right. If you do, awesome. But please, nice. If you don't believe in God, don't even take my word for it. Go out and start creating something new. Start creating something new and take notice of how you feel. Take notice of the emotions that you're living while you're creating this new thing. Take notice of how your brain is working and the thoughts that are passing through your mind. And then come tell me that God is not real. We'll have a chat. It will be true for you. Awesome. What will be true for me? Even better. But what's truth is that we are made in His image. And the more we are able to connect with Him, the more we are able to advance and believe that we are the major key to our better future. It was your boy Avatar Fit with step number 5 of this masterclass. If I could leave you on this, your perspective is exactly that. It's yours. What you do with it will determine the world around you. Always remember that. It is your perspective on how these circumstances around you affect you. Remember what Jim Rohn said. For things to change, you have to change. And that change can only start with a clear, precise belief that by connecting with God, which we are made in His image, we can open the doors in our minds, in our hearts, and in our soul. The infinite doors. Stay blessed.